Welcome back to War Thunder and welcome aboard the Magach 3 again? Yeah, again. So, in the last video I didn't give the tank a very good verdict and I will come to this just in a moment, but let me assure you that this battle was the most outstanding battle that I have played in a while for the teamwork, the actual alignment of stars, or in other words, if you throw enough shit on the wall, some of it's gonna stick, and this is a very good game that I had in this tank, and I wanted to simply talk about the tank again. So, it was again the first tank that I played, and I thought I've given it a very good crack with the whip, after having played nearly 50 battles with it in the first run and just having one awful battle after the other, being the first one to die and so forth. And people in my comment section were absolute experts. And I just was flooded and showered with comments like, "You're just bad, learn to play, stay at range, don't go to the front line," and so forth, keep the tank and range, and the APDS is good, and you just, and so forth. Basically, I thought to myself, well, I always have this experience with a gun that is similar to an L7. And if this is now an L7 gun or a side project or something else, it doesn't really matter because the stats in-game are copy and paste. So the M68 gun behaves just like an L7 in the game. And if the L7 is even up to, historical accuracy, is debatable, and so are all the penetration mechanics and, working against angles of the APDS, the heat and the hash and so forth. It's all debatable. What really matters, if I talk about a premium tank, is the actual performance in game. And on the other end of the spectrum, we once had tanks like the T29 when it first came out, or also the IS-6, and they were just way too good. They were spammed out, they were ranted about, and even more people bought it. And so the Magach 3 deserves another crack with the whip. And I played it again and again and again, and I had just stupid results, and I already wanted to give up, and then I got this map. And we are already having perfect fighting conditions. We are hull down. I'm going with the team. The enemy team is advancing to a certain degree over the open field. We can just cross snipe them. We can just, get out of harm's way. And we have long range. We have big teams. This is what I want to see in War Thunder more often, big maps, not necessarily just this one. Long distances where we can practice our skill in sniping the enemy, getting in the shots. For example, while the first heat shell was not good, this one is. Ah, beautiful shot. Lobbing to the side of the tree over the ridgeline into the T62 that shot me earlier. And a little adjustment and we can finish him off with the second shot. And I move forwards again. So this battle was just intense. It was awesome, not just because of the result, but of the teamwork, how the team worked together. I listened to my teams, the team listened to me to a certain degree, and we just were rewarded with a good results. More of this later on. And the second APDS round into the front of another T62 gives me the double strike and my second kill. And then I see action on this side around this hill, and I need to investigate. I must not get flanked. The side armor of this tank is weak. The profile is huge. Nothing has really changed about the tank, but sometimes you get things like this, that even a SU 122-54 bounces. Don't ask me where he shot me. And don't ask me why now the APDS did the damage that I expect from it. I had the time to get in the shots and I move on after my third kill. There is a smoke screen there. And I see some exhaust thing going on, shooting into the rough direction, hitting the turret ring of a T-54, what it looks like 47 dangerous tank. I hit the commander and the loader and the gun breach. I aim for the driver and the ammo rack and finish him off. And this is just, it feels so good when the APDS brings in results. Mwah. Yes, it felt awesome. 4 kills, leading the leaderboard. I'm with my team. We are just working together and we are engaging the enemies, which do us the big favor of coming at us one at a time. Again, to point it out, it's the first battle in which it happened in like 60 battles. Okay, it was an extraordinary battle. It was a full down tier, or well, 8.0 tanks were involved as well. But to be honest, fighting T-54s with this tank is fair. You know, T-54s can penetrate you, you can penetrate them if you shoot at the right type of T-54, at distance with the right shell type, and you have to switch between APDS and heat defense. And people were really pointing out the APDS, and it's so good, it's so reliable, and so forth, and it has so much penetration. Really, yeah. See, the problem is, sometimes if I talk to people, they come up with strange stories of, you know, oh, I love this tank, I get 10 kills every match, and I think to myself, really? Well, most of the shots that I take are like these, but I have to admit, this is the trolley side frontal armor of an IS-6, but this should have been a damaging hit, because at that point the armor is really thin and the APDS round just simply disappears. It should have touched the engine, or more or less strafed it a little bit, set it on fire at least, but the shell just disappeared by going through so many layers of steel and armor and so forth. But at this point in time, the IS-4 should have been damaged. That's what I want to say. And this is the usual nonsense shot that I get. So again, I'm using here with my team and going a little bit downhill, and suddenly the tank moves with over 40 kilometers an hour, and I'm staying here in the woods. I don't want to make myself an obvious target. I'm keeping an eye on the minimap, I'm keeping an eye on my teammates, if they get hit, if they get shot, if they point out something on the minimap and so forth. And I just saw a glimpse of the Chieftain Mark III getting shot at and turning the turret, so I look at him again, and I have the heat shell loaded. I see some movement in the woods and I couldn't see what it was. I misaim a little bit, but it was a hull break on a ZSU-37, but that was the wrong tank, because there is actually a T-34-100 in the woods behind bushes. I cannot really see where it is. I shoot through it, switch to APDS so I can reliably hit it, and the T-44-100 kills an M60 from the front, and I don't hit him. Oh god. And now he might shoot at me, and let's see where it goes. Another hit that is not really aimed. I couldn't see him. I move a little bit forward and he shoots under my tank. That was really close. And now I hit the loader, and the bush goes down. And now he tries to retreat, he tries to smoke, but I have to aim in, and a second hit takes him out for my 6th kill. Wow, even at this point, if I would have died there, this would have been the most successful battle period in this tank so far that I played. And again, I talked to Miles just after I played the match on Discord, and we discussed the tank a little bit. And let's just talk about the tank in general. It's not an awful tank. It's not a bad tank, okay? But it's not an excellent tank either. The problem that I personally have with this tank is its unreliability that I have with it, and you know, the lack of income it gets for a tank that costs $50. And the 7.7 lineup for the Americans is not the strongest. It's not terribly weak either, but it's not the strongest. And if you compare it, for example, to the other rank 5 premium tank for the Americans, which is the T-11-4, then, you know, I'm sorry, but it's cheaper at a better battle rating Lol. Soviet aircraft are flying low this time of the day. Yeah, so I killed the IS-4, and back to the topic. You paying $50, $50 for a tank. So what I expect from this tank is that it does hell of a research, it is fun to play, and you have to see it like this. You will play this tank for civil line income, for RP income, as a support tank for your high tier lineups. This tank doesn't really do well in up tiers, and you see a lot of up tiers. This tank will get power creep. This is my issue with this tank. And it just works under certain circumstances. When you fight the right enemies, when they miss you, when you have a lot of luck and so forth. Again, the tank by itself is not terrible. It's just so hard to make work, especially if you want to buy yourself up the battle ratings. You will not have a nice battle rating with it, a battle experience with it. But again, this is subject to change. Maybe something will change in the future. Maybe the tank will get a new shell. I doubt it, but everything is possible. But at the current state, I cannot recommend the tank it for that price. And if it would have been a normal tech tree tank, I would have said, well, it's alright, I guess. If you guys like the L7 or any gun that behaves similar, again, copy paste stats, then yeah, sure, but not for me. Just a short comment here about the graphics in this city. I think it looks awesome. The puddles, the street, the new ground in total, it just looks much better. The engine sounds of the aircraft overhead are loud. And if you're working with your team, if you stick with your team like I did here the entire battle, you get easy kills as well. For example, this IS-6. And look at him, he actually straightens out for me, so that I can take my time and kill him with one shot, because how the way that he turned the turret. I supported my teammate and I got the kill. Now we can capture the capture point, and this is now my second base capture. Okay, I love it. Okay, I already have 8 kills. 8 kills in a 7.7 battle with this tank. I'm happy. I'm happy. Yeah. And then I just wanted to make sure that I don't die. I wanted to make sure that I survive this battle, and I wanted to make sure that we win the battle, and also that we hold C, the central capture zone. It's unlikely that the enemy will get A, and I don't think it's worth the time to go around B. So the tickets are already bleeding down. I need to support my team in the city, and yeah, now an Object Nano 6 killed a Magach 3, and another Magach 3 killed another Object Nano 6. Where are they? That's the question. So I reverse and I look around. Where are they? So I want to go into a frontline position, but not too much into the frontline so that I can get shot from across the lake, but so that I can have a good look around. I don't want to hide like a chicken. I want to lay an ambush for a potential counterattack. And there are still some enemies left. Have I mentioned how awesome the reflections in the puddles look? I love it. And somebody just pinged the map, and I want to move in. I immediately turned around. I immediately reacted to my team's announcement that something is there. I have no idea what it is. And I decide to follow this M103. He can take the hit for me, and I can follow it up. While the M103 is much more powerful in my books than the Magach 3, teamwork is just so much better. And again, we have a low-flying Soviet aircraft. The ground doesn't get softer, even with the new update. Okay, jokes aside, let's move in. I look at the side, and the M103 gets set ablaze on the engine, and I had a quick look at it. I saw a glimpse of it, and I saw that it was a T-62, so I could rush him because of the long reload. I aim, I take my time, and yes! Critical hit, driver and gunner. I can follow it up, and there is no way he can survive it. Aim for the loader, and I got my 9th kill. Yes! I was really happy at this point in time, and I wanted to immediately show it to you because I think this kind of teamwork, this kind of map awareness, and the way that it played out with the results is really worth showing. And I think the beating of the Magach 3 that I gave it in the first impressions of the tank, I owe it a little bit with the follow-up. And so I think the tank is usable under certain circumstances, but on most maps, in city fights, in street fights, where you have to get close, if you have to push the objective, the tank just doesn't cut it, and the lineup is also not the best, especially with the up tiers where the tank really suffers. So now let's have a look at the results, and remember, we won the battle. I have a premium account. I got also 2 capture zones and 9 kills, and I didn't even get 100,000 silver irons despite awards like the Survivor Award, which brings in alone over 10%, like nearly 10% of the income. So 81,000 silver lions and 8,900 research points. The research points would be a bit higher if I would research anything, but I have everything in the American tech tree, and I also was first in team with a lot of points, 2,738 to be exact, way ahead of the rest of my teammates. So this was an amazing battle, a good result, but even with this outstanding battle, the income not the best, and this is a $50 tank. I talked to Miles and we both agreed on that it's, well, to be fair, it's an addition, but it's not a tank that by itself can handle the stress of higher tiers. And with having said this, I hope now you are okay with the video, with the verdict. And if you don't trust my verdict, why are you watching the video anyway? Okay. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Let me know your experience again in the Magach, what has changed over the course of the last few days. And if you have bought it, do you regret it? Do you think it's a good grinder? Do you like an upgraded L7 gun variant behaving? Or even if it is an original American project, doesn't really matter. It's the performance on the battlefield that matters. And this time it worked. See you in the skies and on the battlefields of War Thunder.